series, and we're on a delayed feed, everyone, so I apologize, chat. You're going to be in emote prison for a bit because we're going to be slightly behind what's going on the Chinese feed. So let's quickly talk draft dagda. These are the picks coming on through. High priority on Twisted Fate here for BLG. Oh,
yeah,
wait, no,
so
it's back. It's high priority on Nocturne. It's counter pick for Twisted Fate.
You do get this, like, at least for BLG, the Nocturne Twisted Fate combo coming in. So a lot of pressure in towards side lanes, and you can also pair them up super well. So I like this style. The Karma as well is going to enable that Udyr quite a bit as well. So certainly kind of a pick composition, strong side lane control, and you'll be looking to see if you can try and use that to gain advantages towards these objectives where you can make a pick happen. On the opposite side for Sunny, a combo that I think we're going to see a hell of a lot more often is Xin Xiao paired with these enchanters. Like, this is such a strong combo. It enables the Xin Xiao incredibly well. And then when you look towards like the late game scaling coming through from the Gwen, I think you've got a very strong team fighting composition alongside that late game scaling AD carry the Jinx.
Yeah, the Jinx is always going to be one of those picks that if you make the game last long enough, Jinx can come up trumps and just manage to win one of those late game team fights with the AoE rockets, especially once you've got a Hurricane there. But Ezreal Karma, certainly no slouch. A lot of poke in that lane, and Jinx takes a while to get online, so it does feel like the priority in that bottom side may well go the way of BLG. They've got a Twisted Fate as well. They've got a Nocturne as well. This does feel like BLG, if they can make things happen towards the bottom side of the map, maybe get a couple of ganks on the top side as well, they could get these lanes snowballing and take control of the map.
Already looking to snowball. Looks like they've caught out Bin, who's going a bit aggressive.
He stood on a ward. He doesn't realize it. Now he's in a 2v1. He doesn't have flash because he's going Ignite TP. Bin, it's all falling apart, and he starts the game off in the trash.
And already you can see the minion wave is here, right? So he's got to burn that TP to get back to lane, giving a hell of a lot of control towards BiuBiu on that top side. And this is what I wanted to see from BLG. With this composition, you need to get the ball rolling, especially when you have that level 6 available for Zeka, playing towards BiuBiu in that top side, because you want to get these towers out early, start to take over these side lanes, and snowball the game aggressively. And that's going to be a big test for BLG. Historically, at least this season, or split, they haven't been the best at snowballing when it comes to the mid game. The mid game for them has been very weak. So this is a composition where I want to see them active and running away with this game.
Especially Zeka on that Twisted Fate. Feels like that's the kind of pick that you have to be the difference maker on with the hook, but aiming. Happy to sidestep that one. So the level 2 spike not going to lead to too much for the side of Suning. But I like to see him being aggressive on this Thresh. Definitely a player that we're wanting to see more from. But we have to take a moment and talk about this Lulu mid deck, because we don't usually see Lulu mid right now. Do you think this is the way the meta is going to end up panning out? That we just have control mages mid once again?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it a little bit more, having these enchanters made. Now, we've already seen it a little bit coming through with LNG, where Icon played it, and it's specifically to empower a lot of these junglers, like the Xin Xiao is the main one that stands out to me, because you can go for... Oh, hang on.
Oh, ppgod's been hooked and ignited, flashes away, but Huanfeng actually can't chase this one. Aiming's go for the kill instead, and BLG are the ones to get the first blood. Can the shields come through from ppgod? Huanfeng in a 2v1. Is Aiming trying to close the gap once again? Does have his flash available. There's the shield coming on through. The flash, the Q, but it's dodged by Huanfeng, and he gets away with it.
It's the bait and outsmart them coming through from ppgod. He meant to tank the hook, I'm sure, and make sure that he was able to get that kill, but then he got 2 kills. You can see WeiWei even teetering down here to make sure he can keep this bot lane safe. So big swing for BLG in this bottom lane, and already 2 kills on the board for these guys. Now you can see it here. Like, it's a good hook from onto ppgod, but right now you just don't really have the damage to follow up on it. The shield comes through from ppgod, and on taking a lot of damage with great positioning from Aiming to just turn that damage around. This is one of the things about Thresh in the early stages. When you're running this Guardian, you don't actually have a huge amount of tanky stats, especially if you don't have that available. So you can see Aiming able to burn through the health bar on this Thresh, and nerdy Huanfeng as well.
I'm not gonna lie though, Dagda, I feel like if Huanfeng uses his flash aggressively there, chases the kill on Karma, like, it only took one more auto attack to finish that one off. I think maybe they win the 2v2. Because then Huanfeng, who's got the get excited passive as well, can just rail on the Ezreal, and suddenly Aiming is going to be stuck up a creek without a paddle. So I'm
very
not sure.
close,
I feel like
one
Zuni
more
kind of
auto
misplayed that.
with the shield, there was one more auto, and I'm not 100% certain if there was enough damage with the shield to finish off the Karma. And if you don't finish her off in that situation, you just flash forward, she has the speed up from the shield, and you don't get anything. So it was super, super close, and unfortunately I can't do the math quick enough at this stage, but bot side here for BLG.
Both junglers are here as well. We'll see if something comes of this one. There's a control ward that WeiWei will move in and clear. He doesn't know SofM is here and a level up as well. And it looks like everything's going to be diffused. But with priority in this bottom side, WeiWei could look towards that Drake, but I think he's going to forego that for now. And continue to try and play around the map. Go for those camps at the top side.
Yeah, the big thing here for WeiWei, and honestly for Zeka, is like trying to get this mid-wave shoved in. You really want to get this reset coming in on this wave for Zeka. He backs, he's able to teleport into lane, although it looks like he's actually got the free recall off to get those boots. So he's going to be looking at level 6 being hit in about 45 seconds, and then looking to see if he can make these plays. And you can see here, Bin, his wave is not going to be in the optimal position. You can have BiuBiu freeze this just outside his tower. You can even look bot side as well for a potential gank if WeiWei's down there. But I really think that with Zeka here, you're going to start roaming up top, trying to punish this Gwen, especially the fact she still has no TP and no flash.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that's all going to come down here. One thing I do want to mention is ppgod goes quite aggressive in this bottom side. It's just going to be the poke coming on through. This is what we talked about earlier, right? The 2v2, exceptionally good at snowballing here. I want to talk about this mid-jungle duo, though, because we've got Twisted Fate Udyr, not exactly going to have a lot of kill threat in the 2v2. You have a lot of CC, but neither of them bringing that much damage to the table. Whereas Zhao Lulu, that's a pairing that can get some work done. SofM really being the carry from the jungle in this comp.
Yeah, it's a big factor here, and it's something that we kind of touched on, but I may not get a chance here as well, as we're starting to get a huge amount of pressure down towards this dragon. Scuttle going to be picked up, and yeah, it looks like it's grand. So you can see there's kind of the pairing there is that, like, you get a bunch of attack speed, all these shields, and a speed up as well for the Zhao, who gets this invulnerability off his ult. So when you are able to get these Gore Drinkers, Sterix, the Essence Reaver build, you become incredibly tanky, very hard to beat down, but you've got an crazy amount of damage, and a lot of CC as well, because that increased attack speed means you get the knock up. So I think certainly for this composition, you're going to see a super high amount of damage coming out from this Zhao if SofM is able to get the ball rolling. And in compositions like this, it's not surprising to see the Zhao doing like 23 to 25% of the team's damage from a jungler who usually averages like 18% of the team's damage.
Yeah, it's going to be a question of whether SofM can be the carry at the end of the day. And we all know SofM has been known to make some questionable decisions sometimes. Another hook from On, but even with SofM, the brush is not quite going to land. But BLG, they don't know that SofM is here just yet. He's teetering on the very edge of vision range. Jalen his recall. I don't think he's going to be able to go for this one. On not level 6. Huanfeng wants to head back to base by the looks of things. We will cancel that. The wave would have crashed if he'd gone back. Does feel like this has been actually a very slow early game, despite the 2 early kills from BLG. Now we've got that level 6 for Zeka. He's resetting. He'll come back to lane. You've got to expect Destiny's going to come out.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be a little bit faster, though. Actually, surprising to see the build coming through from Zeke. He's the Hextech Alternator, so he's actually going to be going towards the Rocket Belt. So he's looking to kind of be another damage dealer, whereas we traditionally see the Everfrost into the Rapid Fire Cannon because it's a lot better at picks, and obviously you get the increased amount of CC. So I think I would have preferred the Everfrost just from the pick perspective with the amount of damage you have from BiuBiu and aiming, but looks like he's going to be trying to deal a little bit more in these fights.
Fights. Here we go. Nocturne goes flying into the back line, and there's a Thresh Express straight out to safety. Sitting like, you know what? Not too keen on this one. They all back away. Will mean that the Herald's taken by BLG. They're 5 strong. They can happily go for this one. Bin is big, but he is still just a stuffed doll walking into 5 people. It's never really going to end well, is it?
Especially when you're 4 versus 5. Huanfeng was still trying to come from base, and they opt into that play. So you were kind of mentioning earlier on, Munch, sometimes we see some questionable decision-making from Suning. Definitely think that was one of them.
Yeah, I'm really not convinced by that one from Bin going in after the Herald is down as well. Trying to make the play, trying to, you know, miraculously 1v5. And the thing is, Gwen can do that, but not when you've not even finished tonight. Not when the rest of your team isn't there. Not when BLG are clearly all grouped up just waiting for you to walk in. And then there's the karma there. So there's the extra sustainability for the team, the extra having a Karma in your composition is kind of like having a Mountain Soul, right? Where every so often, everyone on the team is going to have a massive shield.
And that's the thing as well, like right now, she still deals a fair amount of damage as well in these fights. But the big thing as well was like, well, one, you did have Huanfeng, right? The team for Sunny was incredibly split up where you had like half the team on one side of the wall, half the team on the other. And you're looking at BLG fully grouped up and ready for you coming into that play. So a curious decision from them. But at least coming through for BLG, you're going to be pretty happy, right? Because we talked about this was the team that wants to snowball. Well, you got a kill now coming over towards Aiming. He's looking good. You've got 2 kills on that mid and jungle as well. And now they're starting with the dragon. And Suning, I mean, I thought once bitten, twice shy, but maybe not.
Well, the top laner's up on the top side this time as Suning moved in. SofM very confident on this Xin Zhao early on. Just gets the smite. It was on 200 after the true shot barrage there from Aiming. But it will be Suning that grab it in the end. BiuBiu now looking for a solo attempt on the top side and Bin turning it around. Good damage from the scissors. But BiuBiu knows he has the advantage.
Yeah, and I like that he's pushing this aggressively, but I want to see him getting help here as well. I want to see Zeka getting up there. I want WeiWei up there. I want to see them looking for these dives. Now, Zeka did use the Destiny in that earlier skirmish up towards the Rift Herald, so he doesn't have that available. Just about to pop off now. So I want to see him shove this wave and actually look for the plays. Even with WeiWei having this Rift Herald as well, you can quickly get through this tower and start to unlock BiuBiu to then make his own plays with the Paranoia.
And I want to take a moment while I'm not expecting any fights to happen in the next couple of seconds here. I could be wrong, but I'm not expecting it. I want to talk about BiuBiu a bit because you can see BiuBiu getting a massive advantage in this matchup, right? 4 plates taken, 15 CS lead, the 2 assists to Bin's 2 deaths. It's not looking good for Bin right now. But when you think about what happened in 2020, Bin easily got the better end of the deal. BiuBiu left Suning. These were the 2 top laners fighting for a position on Suning. And then Bin was the one that massively succeeded, went all the way to Worlds Finals. In this matchup, there's a little bit of personal rivalry between BiuBiu and Bin, and BiuBiu's winning it out right now.
Yeah, and it's great when we actually get to see them fight up against each other because they are 2 insanely aggressive top laners who love to go trade. But BiuBiu, the hero award there, spotting out SofM and making sure that he wasn't going to go down. He's going to lose a lot of minions to this tower though, and Bane actually getting a good amount of this turret plate as well for himself. So nice little bit of back and forth there to at least get some gold in favor for Bane. As BLG, they're going to try and crack this mid lane turret.
Yeah, the question is it worth it for this top lane play? Because SofM spending a lot of time there. Rocket just going to sail on by there as the Herald will be finished. These caster minions might get that last plate. It's going to be, by the looks of things, 2 plates on the top side here. So all in all, BLG still actually coming out on top. There's only 1 plate remaining in the mid lane, 1 plate remaining in the top side. Feels like Suning falling behind pretty rapidly here. 2,000 gold lead right now for BLG.
Yeah, but again, like, we're not actually seeing we're seeing some work from BLG, right? But it's all individual plays. And I think this has been my biggest gripe with BLG is that we're not seeing WeiWei getting involved in the lanes as much as I would like. Or even, honestly, like Zeka here, we've talked about him having the opportunity to Destiny out of that lane. The coordination between the teams, specifically in the mid-game, hasn't quite been working out. And even now we're seeing it in the early stages as well. So I think from this perspective, like, if Suning are able to at least, hold on to their tier 2s here, they should be in a good spot. But I'd love to see BLG really kick up the pace of the game, get Zeka out of lane, actually start to make plays across the map.
It's Suning right now that are kicking up the pace. ppgod has the flash, but he's flayed, he's hooked, he will go down. Huanfeng given the kill there by SofM. That's a really great opportunity for Suning now. Play towards the top side coming out from BLG. Answering on the opposite side of the map. Bin stuck in a 1v3. Will be locked up the Ignite. Taken onto BiuBiu, but he can't finish the kill on this Gwen. 0-3-0 for the world's finalist top laner.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of the story of Gwen. Like, the second she's in the game and she's not running flat. Oh, Amy, though.
Every fight we get, Huanfeng just blasts a rocket up and it's gone wide every time. It's like Yanko's spears are going to be rivaled now by Huanfeng rockets soon.
But yeah, I mean, look, he's trying to see if he can kill the wave. Doesn't matter, though. They still get the top lane tower here for BLG. So now you can get the mid lane turret as well with a little bit of pressure. But this is what I wanted to see. now we've got BLG opting into this 1-3-1 that we talked about. They can actually start to put pressure on towards this mid lane. Like, you can never try and defend this mid lane turret as Sunny without multiple people there, because you'll always end up in a situation where Zeka can Destiny in, BiuBiu with the paranoia, and if you're 1 to 2 people under that turret and suddenly 5 members of BLG show up, it's not going to be a good time.
Definitely not. And here's the thing about this composition from BLG is you kind of have a similar deal to what Suning bring with this Lulu mid, right? When you've got the Karma in support, there is a serious amount of appeal that that's going to offer in the fight. So even when we're seeing Suning making these attempts, the question is, will they have the damage to finish players off? Because if that initial burst coming out, if they can't chase people down, it's going to be very difficult for Suning to really operate in these fights. And BLG, if they can start things off again, you're talking about we wanted to see Zeka being active, the Destiny up towards the top side catches out Bin. It does feel like BLG, they understand their game plan, they are enacting it.
Yeah, and I'd love to actually see them try and give up this Rift Herald now to just double down on that, right? Have Zeka actually teleport to the bot side, give up the Rift Herald, and go for the cross map, because getting these turrets down just allows them to push Sunny back that little bit further. Then they can start to be that a little bit closer, so Paranoias and Destinies have more impact, and you can actually create a huge amount of pressure that Sunny are going to struggle to deal with.
Bin wants a 1v1 on this bottom side, and to be fair to Bin, even though he's lost out every fight so far, he's finished a Rift Maker now, and he's got close to a kill each time. Here we go, gold card in the needlework. I mean, it's not going to do anything, is it? Maybe I got a bit excited by the previous fights. He just got one shot that time.
And this is what we were just talking about, right? Look, you will give up top tower, you will give up Rift Herald, but for BLG, it's more important about getting these outer turrets down to make that 1-3-1 easier, pushing back Suning the full way, and now you can get full control of the jungle. So if you ever see one person like wandering through the jungle by themselves, you can look for the Paranoia Destiny play, you can look for these picks, and even having that Ezreal ult just to slide across the top as well means the global pressure from BLG is going to be so difficult for Suning to deal with.
That's 4 towers now taken by BLG, and this is the kind of performance we were hoping to see more regularly from this BLG squad, right? When we came into the split, a lot of people were getting pretty excited about WeiWei and ppgod being on the BLG roster, moving over together. We've got BiuBiu, who used to be on V5 as well. Like, feels like this was finally something that could work for BLG.
Somebody's hit the wrong button. Rift Herald wandered up mid. Now, we will actually get the charge off, but that was a long old walk, as a mid lane turret will go down. Now, Sunny trying to see if they can get some pressure back for themselves, but Zeka is pushing top side, and you always got to be careful of how far this Twisted Fate can push.
It's true. Twisted Fate up on the top side. Zeka getting some pressure down. You can see a billion pings going up towards the top side of the map. Both teams moving over as fast as they possibly can. Zeka will get some decent damage down. I don't expect that he'll be able to finish this tower unless they get this pick onto Angel. He's taken the wrong path. He didn't respect that BLG have taken over the top side of the map. And this will be both tier 2s in the sidelines taken by BLG now, aiming at a 1v1 with SofM, and he's winning this one. The Zhao is meant to be able to take him down, but it just ain't happening right now. WeiWei pulled underneath the tower. He's playing this Udyr. Shield's not enough, though. He will go down. The resets for Huanfeng, maybe the chance for Suning. Maybe a time to hear them roar, but it's not going to happen for now. I'll have to settle for a minion wave in the mid lane and a tower in the bot side, but they're not winning these trades, Doctor.
Huanfeng still misses the ultimate at point blank range. It does not matter. But either way, they get the kill on towards the Udyr. Again, though, like, it's good from BLG to make that top lane play. And this is what we're saying. Look, if you're wandering through this jungle as Suning, you are going to get caught out. It doesn't belong to you anymore. And with the globals, it's so easy to jump onto these targets with the low health. But the problem was, they didn't just take top lane tower and back away. They tried to take too much, and aiming here kind of sets up WeiWei for defeat as he ends up running into multiple members of Suning.
Well, we said we wanted proactivity, and we've got proactivity galore from BLG here this game. And when we look across these rosters, when you think about the two junglers, you'd expect it really to be more SofM that's driving forward with this composition, with the Lulu behind him. He's on the Zhao. But actually, it's WeiWei that's had way more influence in this game. Him and Zeka working as a duo to get into the side lanes. And Bin, look, I want to quickly say, because I'm sure chat, if they weren't stuck in emote-only mode, would be flaming Bin right now. He has been completely abandoned by Suning. This is one of those games where you're playing weak side, your team is not interested in helping you. They're going to play the opposite side of the map. And this is the kind of
You
scoreline that happens when that happens.
You say one of those games, it's kind of been one of those seasons for Bin, to be honest. Like, ever since Sword Arts left this team, Bin has just been abandoned on this top side. Like, you try to get some pressure coming through from SofM up there, but like, previously, we used to see Sword Art and SofM constantly up there. Now, if you look at like the, 3 series now that we've seen played by Suning, they have a 0% first blood rate. They haven't managed to get it whatsoever. And like, or at least SofM hasn't been a part of it. And the fact that they're now seeing that this style is where Bin is going, hey, look, I really want to play aggressive. I want to be able to do what we know Bin is capable of, but he's not being given those resources anymore. And on a pick like Gwen, especially because you're not running the flash, if you get that level 1 play where they kill you, then you have to TP back, they kill you again, like, it's never going to look good for you.
Yeah, that's the thing is, we did get to see a game where that happened a little bit, right? In the first game against Up, we saw the Camille come out from Bin. There was a little bit of focus towards him and really, really got to snowball. And it was like, okay, Bin's back, let's go. This is the kind of gameplay that we're looking for. But that's pretty much the only game the whole season. And now we're going to fight in the mid lane. Zeka actually taken low, has to flash away himself as Huanfeng putting the pressure on WeiWei now. He runs, he won't stun because he's running the opposite direction this time. SofM is actually going to go in for the play, gets the knock up onto WeiWei, who is damn tanky, but the shields just aren't going to be enough. The hook from On is beautiful onto ppgod. And that's actually a Baron attempt now from Suning.
That's a big win for Suning and a bit of a blunder from BLG. Instead of trying to make sure that there was only 1 to 2 people for that play, they try to jump as 5 men on towards the 3 strong for Suning. And they can't burst them out. There's not enough damage. Now BLG trying to contest this Baron though.
Oh, another hook from On, the guy that's been criticized so much from Suning's side. BLG moving away, trying to contest this one. An early smite out from SofM just to survive on this one as they go for the fight. Onto BLG, but aiming. This is his chance to pop off. Zeka moving in. Red card locked is not the play, but it will be enough for Suning to back away.
Just about. So they end up trading 1 for 1 at Baron, but obviously you had those kills going across early. So a bit of a gold swing coming back for Suning, still sitting about 2k gold behind, but I think it'll be BLG now realizing, hey look, we've got to take this slower. Although we had a big gold lead, we can't just willy-nilly run into Suning. When you've got hooks coming through from On, when you've got enough shields and also a hell of a lot of survivability that Angel can dish around between the team, trying to pick off someone with that Lulu around is not going to be easy. So definitely need to take this slower and see if they can try and play out those side lanes, draw multiple members over, and hell, even go for something like BiuBiu and Zeka working together in the same lane.
And the fact that, like you're saying, that gold lead does still exist, but it's the exact same amount of gold 10 minutes on into the game. Let's take another look, because it feels like they're trying to get onto Huanfeng, but it's just impossible.
Well, they jumped on towards On, which obviously with him being able to go golden did not work out well at all, but it was still like WeiWei not really in a position. So in the best of times it was a 3v4, but you could see how close the likes of SofM were positioned. Bin also able to come across in time too, so yeah, I think Aiming expected that hook to hit him. You can see he even burnt the cleanse, thinking the hook was going to connect with him, but actually managed to skirt past the Ezreal onto ppgod. I mean, right now, hey, we were talking about late game scaling, right? 4 kills on towards Huanfeng in that fight. He's got the rapid fire cannon now. He's almost got the infinity edge. Like, he's hitting critical mass. The person that we're only waiting on to come online is Bin, who, once he gets that cosmic drive, is kind of in the same position. So it's not that far now from Suning actually having weathered the storm and got to the point they're strong.
I mean, mate, even just 2 items on Jinx, it's enough. With a BF sword in there, it is enough to take over a fight. If you get them resets, if you get excited. And let's be honest, when you look at where the gold is for the 2 teams, 4-0-1 on the Jinx, 3-0-1 on Twisted Fate is not really the same level of Snowball. It's not really even in the same conversation.
Yeah, at least we did see the more damage-oriented build come out from Zeka with the Lich Bane and also the Rocket Belt. So he can add a little bit more damage and utilize this gold income a bit better from at least the DPS perspective. But I think the bigger problem that I'm looking at for BLG is, like, look at the waves right now, right? You've got the Nocturne who's shoving in on the bottom side. He's not really linked up with Zeka, and this has kind of been the story of this game, is like, you're trying to get these waves up pushing at the same time, but you just don't have the coordination from BLG.
BLG using that bot pressure though, because BiuBiu does have TP, so at least he can get some side lane pressure going on. Bin's going to be able to answer though with his own TP. in that bottom side of the map. It feels like Baron is the thing on everyone's minds right now. We don't have a Drake for another 2.5 minutes, so it does feel like inevitably Baron is the call. And as you said, Dagda, we are getting to the point where this Suning composition starts to exist. Huanfeng now just finished his 3rd item, and it's a Stormraiser. It feels like the whole idea for Suning here is just survive the all-in, survive the pick, and then chase people down. You got Lulu with the slows. You got Zhao that can close the gap and get wild growth. You've got a Stormraiser on the Jinx with a rapid fire cannon. So with the pow Q, with the extra range, and then a slow on that auto attack with the zaps coming up through, and then a Thresh on top of all of that. How do you ever escape if Suning are on the chase?
Yeah, well, you're hoping as BLG that you never get to that situation, right? The whole idea is, hey, look, we're going to play out these side lanes. We're going to try and make sure that we're putting pressure elsewhere, so we're the ones actively making the picks. If you ever end up in a 5v5 straight-up team fight, you do lose out as BLG. And I think that's the problem that I'm seeing right now, again, is like coming back to these lane states. Cool, you just shoved in top wave. Zeka has to back right the way off because BiuBiu isn't in position. And Bin has been the benefactor of these mismatched lanes because he's clearing top side, walking bot lane, picking up another wave, and then just teetering on back towards top to pick up another one. So Bin is actually getting a huge amount of gold put into him right now because they know he's the last man standing. He's the one that needs just a little bit of a pick-me-up, and then he's good to go. So Suning, as you can see now, a little bit more confident to shove up this mid wave because there's just not the coordination from BLG to try and go for these picks.
WeiWei gets slowed. Here is the chain slow that we were talking about. WeiWei gets out with his life, though. As you're saying, BLG not really wanting a 5v5, and it feels like both teams having to stall out until this Drake comes up in a minute's time. BiuBiu teetering on this side as Zeka is currently pushing in the top lane, trying to get that side lane pressure that you were asking for from BLG. Bin should be able to answer, though, and Gwen's pretty damn good at clearing those waves.
Well, what I'd love to see is Zeka and BiuBiu pushing in that top side, right? You create pressure on the top side of the map. It's actually what Suning did really well against in game 2 against IG, where you create too much pressure. Oh, ppgod.
Dagda, they're getting chased out again. This is exactly what Suning wants. ppgod goes down once more. 0-3 now for the young deity. And it should just be a Drake going the way of Suning. This will be 2 Drakes apiece, and it feels like all the advantages that BLG got in the early game are slowly but surely slipping away. And with both solo laners pushing side lanes, how is it fair that Bin is able to deal with both? This is not how you use pressure, BLG.
Well, this is what we're talking about, right? Mismanaging the side waves, but also, I want to see Zeka and BiuBiu in the same lane. Like, if Dragon's up, right? Plant the 2 of them in top lane. As Bin, you cannot deal with both of them being there. And if Angel is separated, because he's the only one with TP, if he's got to come and deal with Bin on the sideline pressure, you just jump onto Huanfeng. There's no way that Huanfeng can survive both the Destiny, the Paranoia, and everything else is being tossed his direction. But instead, we're just having BLG pottering waves back and forth. We're ping-ponging all over the place. Bin is getting all this gold, and what you talked about, Munch, like, just that slow into the follow-up damage, plus the Shurellias to make sure that you're definitely catching up. There's just no stopping them.
Yeah, if they ever just get a singular auto on, you're never getting away from that one. Suning feels like this kind of, I'm going to dub it the chase down composition, where you've got the Zhao and the Zhao and the Jinx, sorry, that will just sprint after you. In the meanwhile, Bin will look for flanks. Bin will control the side waves. Bin, even after a horrendous early game, let's be honest, now has a bounty. And Dagda, I don't want to overstep. I'm a monkey play-by-play, right? I feel like it's a little bit shocking from BiuBiu that he's 50 CS down after how that early game went.
Yeah, well, I mean, we already talked about it, right? Bin has just been taking these waves that are being shoved into him over and over again. Look, he's bot side now to collect another wave. He's just been top. He's just been fed waves over and over again by BLG. So I'm not entirely surprised now. Zeka, he might need to Destiny out of here.
Oh, he doesn't get to, though. He gets ulted away by a SofM knocked up now. And sure, you'll flash away. Maybe he survives for that one, but you know, that's a flash for a flash. Actually, all things considered, that's kind of an even trade. I'm surprised that Zeka got away with it in that way.
And BLG are staring at Baron. They cleared a ward. So they're just not in a position to follow up on anything. And this is what makes it like so sad watching BLG, is that they just don't know how to accelerate these games or ever feel like they're in a position to trade cross map if these plays go down. So right now, like Suning, they are just happy to absorb all this pressure, get the gold in their favor. Cosmic Drive is now completed for Bin. Huanfeng is quickly approaching his Lord Dominic's regard. And you're good to go at that stage. Like, what else do you need on this team?
I do feel like maybe BLG should have pulled the trigger on Baron. I think other LPL teams
okay, they are.
would have gone for that one. They're just going to do it now instead. Bin has TP, Suning in the mid lane right now, and SofM gets punished big time for trying to face check this one, but BLG will peel off. They'll respect the potential team fight that Suning can bring to the table. And as you said earlier, a 5v5 is really not what BLG wants, so Suning get to move in, they muscle their way into the river, and BLG immediately just have to back away.
Yeah, I wasn't actually sure if we are just going to see Suning just turn and start at the Baron themselves. Like, they have a bunch of shields that are coming through from Lulu. Gordrick are on towards SofM as well. So the innate healing that the Xin Zhao brings with his kit as well. They possibly could have started that out and baited BLG into a fight, but looks like they're perfectly happy to just go, right, we hit late game, we win, so why risk taking any of these plays? So right now, Angel basically being a secondary support here for Huanfeng, making sure that nothing can happen here from BLG's perspective, and we're kind of slowing down. Like, there's just BLG have kind of missed their mark here.
Yeah, it does feel like perhaps the window of opportunity is gone from BLG. And Dagda, we talked about this at the start of the game, right? BLG, they're this team that, yes, their early games can be good. Yes, their late games can be good. And like, we've seen the potential. We know that it exists. We know that there's talent on this roster. But every single mid-game, it feels like the game plan falls apart a little bit. It feels like the coordination just isn't there. Bin just face plants over the wall there as he fails to get his E off. But it just feels like BLG, it's just never quite working. It feels lackluster from this team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the mid-game portion, they just really don't know how to play forward with a lot of these compositions. And they heavily rely on aiming to carry, as he might have to in this fight.
No, the flame jumpers is too beautiful. Zeka tries to make the ult-in happen, but it's just not happening for BLG. And Suning, great. Ults on cooldowns? Sure, we'll siege all day then. Okay, Bin actually could be in trouble. This is a 2v1 on the top side, but he is playing Gwen, and this is 2021. So maybe he wins that 2v1 at this point with 3 items with a Ninja Tabby.
It's a Gwen at 30 minutes. I don't think you take that fight anymore, especially like you don't have a huge amount of damage as Huanfeng gets excited, starts to put damage forward. But again, like now, just you can see items are hit. Suning have the control. They're the ones pushing in. Dragon in 4 seconds as well. They just fall back. They pick that up. They can start to threaten Baron. And Suning are very aware that they have hit the spike where they are just stronger.
And I just love watching Huanfeng when he's fed on a hyper carry. He's just a machine, man. Like, the split second that you overstep, Huanfeng will mow you down. It's going to be another Drake taken as well by Suning. They had Prio in mid, so they can just happily wander over to that one. That soul point for Suning, an Ocean Soul no less, with the composition that scales better on paper. We're no longer in the realms of, like, BLG need to be proactive. We're in the realms of BLG need to find a miracle play to win this game.
Yeah, they need to try and find some sort of pick. And again, now we're starting to see, hey, look, actually, maybe we can have BiuBiu and Zeka working together. They kind of realized it because BiuBiu working alongside Zeka in the spot side. But the problem is he's going to walk over a bunch of vision. So say if Bin or anyone ends up down here to try and clear it this wave, they're going to know that BiuBiu's there. I mean, BiuBiu, I don't think he even spotted the ward there. Yeah, now going back to clear it out. But you've now committed both these guys to bot side. So if you're Suning, potentially go for Baron, or else just look for a pick with yourself. With Huanfeng having this, like, what was it, I feel like it's the follow that car build, where it's just like, you got Lulu who hit the accelerator, and then you just run them down.
Bin looking for a 2v1 on the bot side. What is this? Champion is Zeka. Surely will go down. Needleworks are caught out. The International Space Station is in serious danger of getting hit by a Huanfeng rocket across this series here. Zeka zips on out of there. Bin can't quite finish the 2v1. But honestly, BLG, this is getting tragic.
But, like, here's the thing, right? Bin isn't even behind anymore. He's 2 levels up on BiuBiu. He was a level up on Zeka. He's almost full build. Like, we're 33 minutes in. Like, the fact you set Bin behind doesn't matter anymore. He's a full-fledged Gwen, and he's willing to take over in the side lane. So, for BLG, where's your win con now? Where'd it go? It doesn't exist anymore.
does feel like we're beyond the realms of BLG being able to win through pressure, and we're beyond the realms of them being able to win a team fight. So unless something goes drastically wrong for Suning, this is feeling good for Suning fans at home. But
I know how
say,
BLG win. Huanfeng has taken down the International Space Station. It crashes onto Suning's composition, kills them all, and then BLG can end the game.
Potentially through space-based disasters, there is a small window of opportunity for BLG. I think the other more realistic way is Suning make a big mess up during this game, which we have seen before. SofM especially, bit of a reputation for overstepping and going too far and getting caught out. So it is possible that BLG, off the back of something like that, could get it. Also, now actually pressuring both side lanes at the same time. Bin won't be able to defend this. If the rest of BLG can keep Suning busy and keep them distracted, this is an opportunity for BLG to try and get some pressure down on them.
I mean, there is a spot here, but I think as well you can see the second that Thresh, Jinx both disappear from mid lane, Zeka has to back away. BiuBiu know he's not strong enough to deal with Bin in a 1v1, so again, that pressure kind of lacking. They're starting to move in towards this top side, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to get control here. They're more trying to see if they can help at least for the moment Zeka try and push in that wave and chip away at the turret with the Lich Bane, but it's not going to do enough.
The game is going long enough now, Dagda, where we're getting into the realm of potentially multiple Flame Horizons happening. We've got a Flame Horizon in the mid lane for Zeka, who's 100 CS up. We're getting close to a Flame Horizon for Bin as well, as he's 80 CS up in that top side. It does feel like the meta is shifting towards these very, very long games, and these kind of compositions that BLG are bringing to the table in these longer, drawn-out matches are much harder to pull off, but you do have mojo factor with this kind of composition. You can make really creative plays, really creative macro plays to try and win yourself the game. As SofM, you might find Zeka off in the side lane here. Zeka pops the Destiny, and SofM won't be able to close the gap.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. He actually Destiny's back in to beside the wave to start pushing that wave as well. So, yeah, BiuBiu now in a position here to at least shove in that wave. Bin has just been on cleanup duty. He's actually sold his control ward so then he can get his needlessly large rod. He is very close to full build thanks to BLG, and now Zeka starting to push in a bot side. WeiWei supporting him, but SofM is behind. Might be looking to see if he can get something, but found a break in the Suning defense. They managed to get that top lane turret.
So small bit of pressure, small win for BLG. And now we have to flip the conversation around, right? We've been kind of criticizing BLG all game. Even when they were ahead, we were kind of criticizing them. At what point do we have to start saying, okay, Suning, you got to start trying to win the game now? Because BLG are taking an inhib on the top side. They're trading this for an Ocean Soul. I feel like this still actually favors Suning, ultimately, having that soul in your pocket.
Yeah, it is at least a nice pickup for BLG where, look, they're starting to get some pressure on top side, and now you've got a permanent wave pushing, right? So the opportunity to stick Zeka and BiuBiu in the same lane becomes a little bit better, and you can have a little bit more control there. So this actually does help out BLG quite a bit, but as we said, like, Ocean Soul is going to be very difficult for Suning to deal with. I honestly think as Suning, you've got to start hard forcing things where you're just like, right, we are going to take Baron. Come fight us. We have Ocean. Yeah. We're going to be fine. We're not going to take too much damage. But you've got to force BLG to start playing to like to your strength. Yeah. Otherwise, BLG will kind of just go back. And here we go. Well, Suning hard forcing this Baron.
Speak of the devil, Dagda. Suning have heard you, and they immediately start this Baron off. WeiWei is over the wall. Has flash. Has smite. Paranoia comes in. Zeka's here too. But the Paranoia is all a bait. BiuBiu's down in the bottom side of the map. And Suning can just keep this going all day long. Bin should be able to answer the split push that's going on, but Suning have backed away from the Baron. I'm a bit surprised that they're backing away here. I feel like they win the 4v4 pretty comfortably.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have the TP from Bin, right? So if BiuBiu ever shows up, you're fine. Destiny already used from Zeka, so he's no way into the backline. Like, I think you still fight the 4v4, especially when you're full item Jinx, right? Like, you are a monster. You've got a double support protection around you. I think Suning could have still gone for it, but now instead, you know, you get a lot of these big ultimates coming out from BLG. No Destiny, no Paranoia, and now you got at least a bit of time here where BLG can try and push in, but Suning know that they can still try and pressure them out.
look at this as well, Rob. You've got Huanfeng just clearing the mid wave just because it needs clearing. But it's SofM that's going to deal with the supers in the top side. Even though he's not the most effective at doing it, Suning, no, there's no pressure anywhere. There's no, like, time limit on clearing these supers. So they're like, all right, give SofM an extra 90 gold every single wave. Give him a bunch of gold, because our main carry in the Jinx... I just punched my microphone. Sorry about that, everyone. Our main carry in the Jinx is already fed. Like 500 CS and 5 kills. Huanfeng's good. Let's get some gold elsewhere on the team.
Munch, can we just turn on your camera and like just have you punch your mic as a bit of action? Because we haven't really had any for a while. Although Suni,
I know.
Again, back towards this Baron. Zeka is on the flank.
Does feel like this should be the Suning Baron. Flash over from WeiWei. It's stolen by aiming of all people. The Ezreal. I think that was just a Mystic Shot because True Shot Barrage had already been used. And SofM hangs his head in shame on that one.
Oh my god.
Now Zeka gets a tier 2 in the mid lane as well. And Suning are running out of towers to defend. There's the slow though. Zap gonna be flashed away from Zeka. Blast Cone over the wall. BiuBiu's like, see you later, buddy. You're on your own on this one. But it looks like you'll get out anyway.
I cannot believe that actually got stolen by a Mystic Shot from Amy. And look, what I wanted to see was Suning baiting them in to a fight. So you actually force the engagement. This 50-50 was not the call that I really wanted to see. Because if you, again, we were talking about the ability for you to chase down with the Shurelias, with this Jinx, having the rapid fire cannon, the slow from Stormrazor, just force the fight. But instead, they end up going for the 50-50. Now you've given the split push composition a little bit more firepower because they've got the Baron for that split push. But it has been tough still for them to fully crack this base. They have the top lane inhibitor down, but that's going to respawn in just a second. Zeka isn't really strong enough to go and like fight against, say, SofM in a side lane or anything, so you still need a bit more time from BLG before you can really find these cracks. You need to be hope that Suni mismanages. That was a lot of damage.
We're going full flex state with that kind of damage coming through from aiming. And I have to say, we're talking about Jinx being this late game hyper carry. Ezreal is no slouch in that regard either. Aiming's also full build. And with the way that Suning are playing right now, oh, Zeka, you're in trouble, buddy. You got a Destiny out of there, but doesn't look like... Oh, I think it was on cooldown. It's on a split second of cooldown remaining. I think it's finally available, but he gets out anyway. BLG pressuring the rest of the map. And Suning, they're just being too indecisive. It feels like they're going to just not make a decision until they lose the game.
Yeah, I think they need to try and like have Lulu actually match these, at least work with Bing, because again, like we're seeing that Huanfeng can chase people down. If you stick Bing with a Lulu,
drop everything, Dagda. We've got a ward stone in professional play. Angel has it. I can't even remember the name of that item properly, but it actually exists. We're seeing it in professional play. I didn't think this had ever happened, and neither did BLG as they get chased down from the base. WeiWei will surely fall here. BLG answering on the top side has been in a 2v1 here, but he is playing Gwen, and he's inside his shroud. That's the GA popped, and Eamon just gets chunked out as out goes Bin, survives a 1v3, and Huanfeng is here to clean things up. Zap goes out, but the slow doesn't land, and in the meantime, Zeka's pushing on the bot side. SofM's here, TP coming through. This is the action we've been waiting for. Zeka surely falls. Zhonya's going to buy a second of time, but that's all it will buy. Kill for Angel here. And BLG, they've lost 2 members. What can they get elsewhere? Doesn't look like anything as Bin is here to defend. They have to recall, and Suning now on the offensive.
Yeah, Suning just need to stop running around in this like 1-4 style. Although they have managed to pick off one and WeiWei, so this actually could be the end here as Suning start to push in. They just need to hard commit to this. I want to see Bin TP in. Like, this is where you can force all the fights that you've been waiting for.
They can surely get a mid lane inhib here at minimum, but also Elder is up in 20 seconds time. Dagda, I think Suning just peel away from this one. You know that Zeka will be spawning after the Elder Drake is already up. He has TP, but this feels like it's going to be exceptionally difficult to contest. Oh, but it was all a bait. They just waited in the brush and now they're onto WeiWei. This is the pick. This is the moment. Suning, they can push up the mid lane. They might just end the game.
Yeah, I forget about Elder. Like, Elder only works when you need more fight. Just take your minions in the mid lane and end the game. Like, who's actually going to threaten you here? You've got so much protection for Huanfeng. He can free hit onto these towers. Nobody's really going to be able to deal with them, but looks like we're going to go back towards the Elder. Yes, Suning, you already won team fights. Now you ultra win team fights, but you're not finding enough of these fights to actually make use of this, it feels.
And Angel at this point in the game, he's got real excited off of the E3 announcements. He's going full Spartan with the 117 scoreline here. And Suning need to. After this game, it is felt very difficult. In a game that I feel like Suning have had an advantage for a long time in compositionally. They really struggled to commit to any objectives. They weren't really willing to force the Baron except one time. And then they lost the Smite fight to an Ezreal. Not a great look for Suning, but it might be just good enough to be able to finish this one out. They have the Elder Dragon. It's time to pressure the mid lane. You can see the duo side laners together in that top side that you've been prescribing all game long, Dagda. But I don't know if they can win this base race. Here we go. Trying to get onto the Nexus here. TP's being channeled. We got a base race on our hands here, Dagda, but I don't think it's winnable for BLG because you're against the Jinx. The Nexus is already going down and barely towers have been taken. Suning. I mean, it wasn't even a race. It's Turtle versus the Hare.
That is the only way that this game could have ended. That was the only way that we could have got a finale here. Because that was long, drawn out, not a huge amount of sense being made, but we got there in the end, and Suning actually come out on top.
I'm not really sure what conclusions we should draw from this one, Dagda. I have to say, moving forward, when we look at the bigger picture, when we look at the standings, BLG and Suning, I feel like I'm drawing negatives for both of them off of this game. This felt incredibly indecisive. I would say BLG were the more decisive team out of the two teams, but it's not by a huge margin. It's like when one team is making no decisions whatsoever, it's pretty easy to be the more decisive team. The mid game definitely a struggle for BLG. They finally figured out how to get some pressure down later on, but Suning had a Jinx with a Lulu that you just get to the late game and you just annihilate people. So did feel like BLG were just trying to run around the map and just outpace Suning. That was the only way that they could find a win.
Yeah, I mean, for BLG, like, the biggest thing that you needed to do was try and separate Lulu from the team. Because you couldn't really try and make a pick because of just the survivability that Lulu offers. So instead, what you needed to do was try and go, okay, we're going to look instead at having this 2-3 setup where you got the Nocturne and the Twisted Fate working together, especially around, the 20-minute mark before bins really become relevant. You can very quickly pick off bin. You can start then to make the plays happen, and where you're pushing in top side, you can then create a huge amount, especially around objectives. Like when we saw that dragon starting up on bot side, the fact that we didn't see them trying to pressure on top side and push in onto the inhibitor turret there, I think was kind of a signal that BLG weren't really sure how to play at this composition fully. And it meant that we got into a spot where Suning were able to slowly but surely bring themselves